Before we introduce the topic for today, we have a few meeting guidelines to review. The moderator will mute everyone's mic while the speaker gives the main presentation. Once the speaker is completed, there will be time for Q&A and discussion session. At this time, you'll be able to unmute yourself to ask questions, share ideas, and feedback. You can also post questions in the chat box. The session will be recorded and shared with everyone via email and also on our other social media outlets, including YouTube. I will now hand it over to Nia to introduce our main speaker for today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So our financial literacy discussion topic for today is fighting for the African dream. As we continue to grow in our personal finance and chase the American dream, it's also highly important to remember the African dream as well. Today, we have the presenter on the call to lead a conversation by the name of Nia Black, founder of Glow Up Africa. Nia Black Umuzie is a media personality and TEDx speaker. She has worked as a TV host with local TV stations like Afrocentric TV and Cryo TV in Houston, Texas. Nia is also the founder of her own media company known as Nia Black Studios, where she hosts a virtual show, Conversations with Nia, airing on YouTube. On the show, Nia Black discusses current issues focusing on a wide range of topics, including marriage, lifestyle, entertainment, politics, and to name a few. The show has featured the likes of Miss Black Michigan USA, Chicago Wall Street's Rendell Solomon, and the president of the Global African Business Association. She is the founder and executive director of Glow Up Africa, a nonprofit organization that focuses on raising awareness for hepatitis B prevalence in West Africa and builds libraries and educational infrastructure. Nia Black strongly encourages and believes the empowering of our community is very important and understands that education and knowledge are the key to achieving long life success. Thanks again, Nia, for presenting today. Please begin.
Thank you so much for such a powerful introduction, Eric. And thank you, African Business Club. Thank you so much. Do I add the 2020 to the name? African Business Club 2020, okay, let's do that. Thank you so much for the invite. I feel so honored. I see a lot of my friends are logged on. Hi friends, hi everybody logged on. Super honored, like Nerik said, I am Nia Black Umuzie. I'm a media personality and the founder and executive director of Glow Up Africa, which is a nonprofit that focuses on just talking about hepatitis prevalence in West Africa, building libraries, water supply, donating books to schools. This is such an honor. I can't say that enough. So I don't know anything about financial literacy, you guys. When Doni asked me to come speak, I was like, I deferred a little bit because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't want to come on here and embarrass myself, right? But here I am about to talk about fighting for the African dream. I'm going to share my slides so we can begin. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, so just a little bit. In 2017, I received one of the greatest opportunities to speak on TED Talk in Ghana, Accra. I got a chance to connect with the curator of TEDx in Ghana, and he put me on. And very fortunately, and I like to say fortunately, I got the chance to speak on a program they had called African Dialogues. So that year, 2017, they weren't going to focus on just like regular topics. They wanted to focus so much on African Dialogues. So if you search for my TED Talk from Ghana, you would see it under African Dialogues. So please check it out. And the title of that speech is, What is the African Dream? And so I guess Doni saw that, got excited and had me come here. So let's do this. Again, like I said, I don't know anything about financial literacy. I do practice it myself, but I'm not an expert on it. So today's talk, for lack of better words, or presentation would not be, the theoretical, analytical, step-by-step, how-to, like you guys may be used to. I just really genuinely want to share my story with you guys, because that's what I do best. Share my story, talk about my passion, my heart, and hopefully everybody, is inspired, and that really, inspires the conversation for today. So like I said, I will be talking about my story, the current situation in Africa, American dream versus the African dream, Africans in diaspora, and our role as Africans in diaspora. So, I moved to the United States when I was 14. If you watch my TED, you hear me say 16 because I was confused at the time. And my parents were like, no, it was 14 going on 15. So I moved to the United States, Chicago. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, got a chance to attend high school in Chicago. And in Nigeria, of course, we lived a very okay life. It was a very, very good experience. And so moving to America was really a great time for me to realize my passion of trying to effect change. I remember just not sleeping for nights, talking about how I want to change the Black community and the African-American community, which is really, really crazy. And while living in Chicago with my family, I would frequent Nigeria, Lagos to be specific. That's where I grew up. I would frequent Lagos. And so when I would go, I would just see like all of this disparity and craziness happening. I remember one time just crying over the fact that electricity was not a luxury. You know, it's like you go there and next to you know, it's like the lights are turned off, you have to depend on generator. And what I love that my parents did, and I'm so excited about, is my parents made sure that we lived and grew up on mainland. And if you know what mainland is, it's not the most luxurious area. For those of you that are Nigerians that are logged on here, many Africans in diaspora, when they go back, they go to like VI, right, Lekki, right? But I grew up in mainland, and that was such a good experience because I got to just live and experience this hardship just like every other person. So like I said, electricity will cut out, so many craziness will happen. One crazy experience I had was the last time I went to Nigeria in 2017, I got a chance to revisit one of my hairstylists, and I was getting my hair permed. So my hair is relaxed. For all the natural people out here, don't come at me. So I was getting my hair permed and I was in the salon, right? Or we'll say saloon in Nigeria. And this lady, Auntie Tony, she's like my go-to person. And she had to relax in my hair, and next to you know, the light just cut off, right? And she's like, oh my gosh, like she's gonna use a generator, but she has very little fuel. And without the fuel, she can't pump water. It was just really, really crazy. And I was like, Lord, I pray my hair doesn't burn off, right? So that's just like the present reality in Nigeria. And to me, it's just so important that we understand that. So after I grew up in Chicago, I moved to London where I did my master's in global health and social justice. And it was in London that I officially became this person. It was in London that I started my nonprofit, and I would always frequent Nigeria, and that's how I got the chance to speak on TED. And I remember in London, I was super excited because I would be in spaces where all we talked about was effecting change in Africa and trying to do so much good. So everybody I was with, we're just talking about change in Africa. We would eat change in Africa, sleep change in Africa. And I guess that's what really inspired that speech. So regardless though, the talk about African Dream and just my nonprofit has really shaped a lot of the way that I see things, really. And I'm just so glad, again, to reiterate, to share this experiences with you and hope that you guys can be inspired. And like I said earlier, this can be a community conversation once I'm done with this presentation. So when I revisited Nigeria in 2017, I was faced with a very, very tough reality. I got a chance to tour some schools, especially in my town. I'm from Imo State, Nigeria, for those who can relate. I got a chance to tour some schools, and I was really heartbroken by what I saw. So the first school I visited is in Imo State, and in Owerri to be specific. So this is the picture you're seeing on the screen, and the students are gathered because I'm speaking to them. There's an assembly going on. But if you look above, you see the roof, right? You see what's happening with the roof. It's literally shattered. It doesn't exist. And so my team got a chance to take this picture, and I'm so glad they did because, of course, I was up front speaking and I got a chance to tour the school, but it really captured just the current reality and the condition of the school. Here's a video we recorded, and the kids were just telling us their needs. And I'm gonna kind of fast forward through this video a little bit, but just so you guys, if you can just pay attention and listen, hopefully you can hear what they're saying. So they're telling us like what they need in school and what's lacking.
Hold on. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. How old are you? Okay, what class are you in? Okay. What do you think your school needs, you know, like as a person, personally? You don't have chairs in class. Okay. No, go on.
So if you hear her speaking, right, my team is asking you, what do you guys need in your school? And she's saying, we don't have chairs. So imagine being in a classroom, for those that are here in the Western world, imagine being in a classroom where you don't have chairs, right? She's saying they don't even have toilets. Did you guys catch that? They don't have toilets. And then she goes on to talk about like the labs. And I'm gonna just fast forward a little bit for the sake of time so you guys can see when they give us a tour of their labs and what it looks like.
Oh, so we're heading to the classroom area. Okay, so where's the person who was talking? So this is your class, right? This, okay. And you guys can see this.
So that's their classroom. I'm going to skip to the labs. Let's try that again.
Wow. So what's the name of this lab? This is our chemistry lab. Oh wow, good evening, ma. Okay, so that's our teacher there. Let's see what she has to say. Good afternoon. Would you like to just introduce yourself to us? I'm busy now. Okay, you don't have time for that. Okay, thank you though. Okay, so this is your chemistry lab, isn't it? All right. We need equipment for.
So you guys get the gist, right? So that's your chemistry lab. Compare that to the chemistry lab here in America. Compare that to the chemistry lab anywhere. This is their chemistry lab. Of course, the teacher was trying to be very careful. We did have like a lot of issues with the authorities because we, recorded this video. But this is just like an idea of what I was faced with while touring schools in the eastern part of Nigeria.
Hold on.
So this is another video of another school, a nursery school that we visited. This one literally is across the street from where I grew up. I'm sorry, not where I grew up, my hometown in Imo State in Nigeria. So just watch this video and I want you guys to pay attention to the surrounding. Like what's going on in the surrounding. It's very, very short. I think it's about 13 seconds.
Bye.
So did you guys see like around? Did you see? Let me play that video again. So what you see right now, like this building is their classroom. That's literally a classroom for nursery school. And when you go inside, there's no board. The wall is their board. And then in the classroom as well, we have weeds growing, on the ground in the classroom. So, when we watch CNN and we watch, Western media outlets and we see them showcase all of this, we get so angry, like, this is not all of Africa. They should show the beautiful parts. And I agree with you guys. I get frustrated too because Africa has so many beautiful parts. But to be honest, and I've used this word a lot, this is our present reality. I literally left this nursery school crying my eyes out. And yes, I do cry a lot because I have a big heart. But I was crying my eyes out after seeing this. I cannot imagine being this age and just being subjected to this kind of infrastructure. And you look at their feet, most of them are not even wearing shoes. And to be honest, I did not even post a lot of these videos on social media because, of course, I don't want to bring attention to the fact that, oh, I'm doing good and watch and see what's going on. No, this is their life and it's a very, very sensitive issue. So I hope that as you guys see this, you can really kind of picture what I'm trying to say. Of course, this is not new. A lot of you have seen worse and I get it, but I'm here just to remind you so we can really dive right into this topic. This is a closer look, right? You see some of them don't have shoes. Many have sandals, many just have slippers, and they're all just there. And they're all smiling because I'm talking to them, I'm hugging them. It's like just hope. Hope has come to them and they feel like, yeah, things are going to change moving forward. So now this is in Lagos, right? The big city, Lagos, Nigeria. This is in a place called Obalende. And the guy you see there is on my team and he's talking to this woman who lives in this neighborhood. And so she's just kind of telling us what's going on in her life and how things are now moving forward. Imagine you living here. Imagine this being, again, your reality. Imagine waking up every day and you're subjected to this environment. This is one of my favorite persons. His name is Afa. Afa is a mechanic and he helps my family a lot. And I just really love this picture of Afa. But if you just look ahead a little bit, you see the dump and the trash like on the streets. this is how Lagos is, right? You literally inhale, you inhale trash often, especially if you're in mainland. Yeah, so I hope this really opens you guys' eyes even more to just see, like, you know what? This really, we need to accept the fact that this is how Africa is. Like I said, there are some beautiful parts, but there are also parts like this, and we need to start just owning and knowing that, yes, this exists. So now just kind of shifting gears to the American dream versus the African dream. What is the American dream? We talk about it often. You guys know, what is the American dream? And my friend Wikipedia was so gracious enough to define it so well. And it says, the American dream is a national ethos of the United States, the set of ideals, democracy, rights, liberty, opportunity, and equality, in which freedom includes the opportunity for prosperity and success, as well as an upward social mobility for the family and children, achieved through hard work in a society with few barriers. My favorite part is that last part, as well as an upward social mobility for the family and children, achieved through hard work in a society with few barriers. And as Africans, we have this little pocket conversations where we say, in America, you get your money's worth. If you work hard, you can pay your bills. But if you're in places like Nigeria, if you work hard, it's gonna be hard to pay bills or to meet up with the cost of living. So this is the American dream. The fact that you can actually achieve all of this, you have the opportunity and the freedom to receive prosperity, success, and upward mobility if you work hard. So my question, and of course this is like rhetorical because I'm answering the question, is should Africans subscribe to the American dream? Of course we should, and we are. We should subscribe to the American dream, and we are already subscribing to the American dream. Why? Because it's amazing. It's easier for us. We get good education. The healthcare system is better. I mean, it's not perfect. We already know that, American insurance policy and all that fun stuff. There's economic development, financial development and literacy, like you guys are very focused on. There's career development, civilization, and the paradigm shift. To me, like, this is the biggest one. You know, we always talk about this, and forgive me if I'm too centered on Nigeria, because Nigeria is home for me. I can definitely draw a lot of references from Nigeria. So if you're not from Nigeria, I sincerely apologize, but you do know, like, the problem is across the board, right? So paradigm shift is very, very big because it's, you come here and you get exposed to the way the Western world functions, right? It's like your mentality starts changing. And that is why our parents will make fun and say, you're becoming Americanized. Like, what is wrong with you? You're so Americanized. But the truth is our perspectives are changing. Our thoughts are changing. We're beginning to see that it's okay to be a woman and to be independent. Like, those traditional ways of doing things they're not the best always. Like I said, it's okay to be a woman and to be independent, right? It's okay to be a woman, and if you lose your husband, you don't have to cut your hair, like my Igbo tradition would always advise that women do. So all of this paradigm shift is what we gain from moving here, the exposure. You know, whenever I go to Nigeria, I see, and this is no shade or anything, but I see even older people still stuck in a certain mentality and way of doing things. There was this famous actor, I don't know if you guys heard of him, Peter Edochie, a Nigerian actor, who said, guys should not kneel down when they propose to a woman. Right? And for me, I'm just like, what does that have to do with anything? Why are we just holding on to these old ideals and perspective? So what a Western world does, regardless of where you are in Europe or in America, it definitely enables you to have this paradigm shift. So now, Africans in the diaspora are actually doing very well. We know that. You've seen that in the news, you've seen the data, but I do want to go through a lot of the data from this article from the University of Kansas to kind of open you guys' mind a little bit more. And I'm going to read through all of it, if you guys don't mind. So it says, compared to the US population, the African-born immigrant population is generally more youthful, with 81.3% falling in the 18 to 64 age group compared to 61.8% for the national population. So what Africans are full of young people. And even like when you look at the global economy, Africa has more young population in comparison to other continents. So the next bullet says, the relative youth is one reason why these immigrants are net contributors to the American society. They are likely to exert less pressure on the country's pension and social security system. In the absence of significant barriers to employment opportunities, African-born immigrants are strategically positioned to make a net positive contribution to the country's social security system, right? So African immigrants are huge contributors to helping the social security system pretty much. We don't exert too much pressure on it. They don't have to pay us. We work hard, and that's in the following bullet. Now, the third point says, and while relatively lower levels of development in Africa lead Americans to assume that African immigrants are less well educated, data from the ACS shows that African-born immigrants aged 25 and over possess high levels of education comparable to, if not better than, the average American population. Right? So this data says, data from the ACS shows that African-born immigrants aged 25 and over possess high levels of education compared to, if not even better than, the average American population. And again, this might be just a review for you guys, some of you know this already, but I think it's important that I just open this up as well. The next bullet point talks about the labor force. It says the labor force participation rates of African-born immigrants are higher than that of the foreign-born population and the general US population. Way higher. Second to the last bullet point says, overall, African-born immigrants aged 16 and over have a higher rate of employment. Do you guys know that? 69.2% relative to the foreign-born population, which is 63%, and the general US population, which is 59%. Specifically for Nigerians, it says, for the Nigerian-born immigrants, the proportion that possess at least a bachelor's degree is 60%. So imagine all of the Nigerians here, the proportion that possess at least a bachelor's degree is 60%. So this just goes to show, like, when Africans are presented with the opportunities, we fight hard and we work hard. So a lot of us can just, go ahead and blame all of this, the fact that, Africa is unstable, to the government, the healthcare system, and all that fun stuff. And that's true. So before I go back into that comment I just made, let me review the reality in Africa, the poverty rate, education. For poverty rate, it says 41% poverty rate as of 2015. Of course, it's most likely higher, but this was the data I can get from the World Bank. It said, due to high population growth during the same period, the number of poor people in Africa has actually increased from 1990 to 2015. So it's increased from 278 million in 1990 to 413 million in 2015. Now, when we look at education, and I'm giving you guys this information to just kind of like draw a juxtaposition to how effective and successful we are in the Western world, in the United States to be specific. Now, when you look at education, it says today, as of today, right, today, 2020, only 6% of young people in sub-Saharan Africa are enrolled in higher education institutions compared to the global average of 26%. Again, of all regions, sub-Saharan Africa has the highest rate of education exclusion. Over 1/5 of children between the ages of about 6 and 11 are out of school, followed by 1/3 of youth between the ages of 12 and 14. Now let's look at health. What's going on with health? It says fewer than 50% of Africans have access to modern health facilities. Many African countries spend less than 10% of their GDP on healthcare. And I have a story regarding this. So I don't know if you guys saw the story about a young girl in Nigeria who was assaulted and stabbed last year, like severely stabbed, severely assaulted, raped. And so she ran to a nearby hospital while bleeding, asking for care. And you know what they told her? They said, well, we have to see your deposit first. You need to deposit something before we can care for you. Right, what happens here in America? ER, like straight up, they take care of you before they even ask you for money. But this girl died on the spot, right there. Looking at employment, it says the world's highest unemployment rates at the end of 2019 were in sub-Saharan Africa and occupied Palestine. So Lesotho, which is in South Africa, has 28% unemployment. Eswatini, which is Swaziland, also in the southern part of Africa, has 26%. occupied Palestine, Palestinian territories has 26%, and Mozambique 24%. I'm actually surprised Nigeria is not on here, you guys. And when you compare this to the largest economies, right, in the world right now, the largest global competitors, Japan is just at 2%, India is at 3.5%, Germany is 3.6%, the United Kingdom is 3.9%, United States is 4%. I thought it would be higher actually. China is 4%, Canada is 5.9%, France is 8%, Italy 10%, Brazil is 11%. Now, when you compare all of this, like I was saying earlier, of course we say, oh yeah, the reason why Africa is like this, the reason why we have all of this, you know, this destabilization and this craziness going on is because of the government. And that's true. The government does play a huge part. But I always say this, and this is what I said in my speech on TED, the more we point fingers at the government, right? We defer the possibility, or we just kind of take our minds away from the possibility of us actually effecting change. It's like, oh, it's the government's problem. It is what it is. So Nigeria's independence was October 1st, which was, when was it? Was it Friday? I don't even remember, forgive me. Was it Thursday? Remind me if you can in the chat box. And so this post went viral on Twitter and even Instagram, and he said, the only people really celebrating Nigeria's independence are the Nigerians in diaspora, right? But the people in Nigeria, they're not celebrating, they're not happy. Well, because they're in it. They're in that situation, they're suffering. But in diaspora, it's like, oh, the problem is so distant. It's like how many miles away from the US to Nigeria is like what? More than maybe 13 hours from Houston, if I'm not mistaken. UK to Africa is maybe like 8 hours tops. Oh, the problem is so distant. We just chill out here having fun, doing what we want to do. We forget the problem. We forget that there are actually people who live this problem, and that's the reality every day. So we get so consumed with this idea of the American dream. We're here, we're successful, you know, employment rate is great, we're working, career development, and that's, like I said, it's amazing. I'm here too, I'm benefiting from it. But when are we gonna start actually dreaming that African dream? And what exactly is the African dream? What exactly is the African dream? This is a phrase I always use, or quote I always use, and I say, to me, in my personal opinion, you guys can of course disagree. I always say this everywhere I go, the greatest Africans in the diaspora are the ones who migrate to the West, right? Migrate from the South to the West, occupy the space, learn, develop themselves, and use those skills to better their community at home. Those to me are the greatest Africans in diaspora. I'm going to exit my slide for a little bit because I do want to draw from some notes that I have listed on here, but I will go back to my slide. So exactly, when defining the African dream, what exactly is the African? Oh, there are comments coming in. Someone said October 1st was Thursday. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So what exactly is the African dream? The African dream is you. Everyone logged on here, all of us in the diaspora. The African dream is me. The African dream is those that are born here even, right? As long as you identify and you associate yourself with Africa, and you connect and you identify yourself as African, that's you. You are the African dream. And we're the only ones that can take it to the next level. What do Westerners do? Oh, they create nonprofits, international aid that can help Africa, right? They do that all the time. But what happens with all of this? The Clinton Foundation created CHI to help with health access. But what happens? There's no form of sustainability. So everything just crashes. It's when we rise up and actually become the ones that are at the forefront and fight the good fight, then we can learn to create things that are sustainable, because that's where we're from, that's home. My biggest frustrations with Africans here that I see is the fact that we've become so lax and so comfortable. We've become okay with living and fighting the American dream. Like I said earlier, it's okay. Day to day, I got work to do. I got to work my shift 9 to 5, and that's okay for me. But we forget this possibility of the African dream. When you come to Houston, I'm based in Houston right now. When you come to Houston, oh Lord, even now with Corona weekends, it's clubbing. People are having fun, turn up. You see them spending thousands of dollars on a night for drinks, right? when I left London, before I left London, for those who don't know me, I'm a very, very strong Christian. I always say that wherever I am, even if I'm talking about the toughest topic, political topic, I'm like, I'm Christian, by the way, just got to insert that in there somehow. So when I was planning on my next step after London, well, while in London, I kept praying and I got this huge inspiration to move back to Houston with my family. And I was literally devastated. I was like, I don't want to move back to Houston. I don't want to be there. Right? I enjoy being in this space. I enjoy being in London where there are groups of people just gathered talking about effecting change in Africa. My perception of Houston is, oh my gosh, all they want to do is big body, dance, drink, go to clubs, do all that fun stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But what my point is, we lose sight of what's actually important, like why we're here. Like I said in my quote earlier, the greatest Africans to me in diaspora are the ones who occupy this space, take the skill necessary, and move on to help their community back home, because again, that's home. Even now, a lot of girls are looking cute because of Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. I see y'all. Even heck, I look cute on Instagram too. I'm not disputing that. But what happens? A lot of people spend $1,000, $3,000 on those nice fancy purses. I'm not big into luxury items. You know, if you know me, you know, yes, I'm really not. And this is not throwing shade at anyone who is. If you are, that's amazing. Like, spend that coins. But just remember back home. Remember what you can do for your community back home. If you take out $5 literally a day, $5 a week, you can help neighborhoods like one that I visited called Makoko in Lagos, Nigeria. You can do so many great things. And I'm going to go in depth on how we can really use $5 to effect like monumental change. You know, just something as little as even $1. Saving $1 every day can help a lot of people. With just that $1, you can save up for like 2 years and create like a financial literacy program for Africans. I was very excited when I saw a lot of Africans jump on the Black Lives Matter. Heck, I did too. If you see my page, I had a lot of speaking engagement. I spoke about it because growing up in Chicago, I definitely identified with the struggle. I experienced police brutality firsthand. It was really, really crazy. And I was excited. I'm like, okay, my African brothers are in the mix. We're fighting. Yes. And that's good. We should fight. Well, how many of you guys post often about the struggles that are happening in Africa though? Again, I just see Westerners like talking about it, Caucasians specifically, traveling back home and spending like literally years doing like, trips and exchange programs just to learn and help back home, our home. But how many of you guys are really talking about it? Having this open conversations about how can we change Africa? What should we do? How can we do this? My dad always says this to me, and whenever I like get angry and like frustrated about different things, he's like, and I was like, Dad, I want to run away. I want to move. I want to do something. I'm so tired. Life is so crazy. He's like, if you move away from where you are and you leave your dirty dishes there, and this is my dad's words, you leave your dirty dishes there, wherever you go and you come back, it's going to be there for you. Those dirty dishes are going to be there. Who's going to wash it for you? If you leave and you just run away, so now I'm not saying we ran away, but we're in the West now, we're here. Africa is still the way it is. The dirty dishes is still the way it is. So who's going to wash it for us? We have to do it. It's ours, right? It's ours to do. Fighting for the African dream, in my opinion, should be our daily focus. It should be like, we literally should wake up every day and be like, you know what? How can I help my community? I am African, I am proud. That is why I really love this platform you guys have created. I'm African, I'm proud. Those things that the world see as ugly, how can we change that to make it so beautiful? How can we change all those things? So going back again to my PowerPoint, I said I was going to break it down about the whole $5 a day for 2 years, right? So if you save $5 a day, maybe $1 is more practical for you guys. Maybe $5 is a little ambitious for some people, but if you save $5 a day for 2 years, you get $3,650. Now, again, I am Nigerian, so I can really convert to Naira. So $3,650 in Naira, what does that give you? 1.3 million Naira. Do you know what you can do with that? And again, I didn't even say save for 6 months. I'm not giving you guys time, like, save for a long, extensive period of time. Then let's go to $1 a day. Let's save $1 a day for 2 years, right? So maybe you have some change around the house somewhere. Put that in your little, like, save. $1 a day for 2 years, $730. Doesn't seem like a lot here. It's like, oh, I can buy like a purse, I can buy a shoe with that, I can go to lunch several times and that's all gone. But that in Naira, that's 279,000 Naira. What can you do with that? What can you do in Nigeria with 200,000 to 1 million? You can do a whole lot. You can buy a land. I have a friend of mine who just bought a farm and he's employed people that are working for him. You can buy a land. You can start a farm, employ people, you're contributing to the economy. You can begin a business, employ people. I have a friend who's logged on Uche Exclusive. She has a business where she sews African Ankara into like nice Western wear. And literally her factory is in Nigeria. The people she works with, they're all in Nigeria. So you can begin a business, employ people. You can rent a space for a year and still have change. You can rent a home and still have change. You can host programs. A lot of things are virtual now. You don't even have to do a lot, just host programs virtually. And you know what? Just do giveaways. And in that way, you're really reaching a lot of people. It says 525 million Africans right now use the internet. So you definitely have access to a lot of our people on the internet. I mean, who watched Big Brother Nigeria? I'm really not for that show. I say that all the time. But you see the amount of people that watch it and talk about it on social media? So our people are very active. You can use that route. You can invest in education somehow. Try what I did, build a library, build a water supply on campus, invest in healthcare. So as of 2013, and I know there's like an updated data right now, but I really couldn't find it. But as of 2013, there were 39 million Africans in North America. So that's definitely increased, right? 113 million in Latin America, 13.6 million in the Caribbean, and 3.5 million in Europe. Now imagine if like, let's say 5 million in North America just come together and say, you know what, let's do something. Let's all donate like $1, right? And build something that we can control. Like the government won't have control over it. Just go through the right methods. And let's just do something together. Or maybe like 3 million people in Latin America come together and you're like, you know what, let's do something together. Or maybe 1 million from the Caribbean. They all come together, congregate, try to do something. Maybe 1 million from Europe as well. And I'm not saying that people are not already doing things. I mean, this platform is an example, and I'm part of GABA, which is the Global African Business Association. My president is logged on. I know he's you guys' mentor, so he's logged on. So I'm part of that. And a lot of people in the group, African Americans even, are investing in Africa and doing a lot of things. I know there are a lot of pockets, conversations and things going on. And if you know me and you follow me on Instagram, you see that I moderate a lot of panel events. Just writing on my slide. You know that I moderate a lot of panel conversations about Africa and changing Africa. I'm tired of my WhatsApp. If someone wants to take over my WhatsApp, I am hiring, come manage my WhatsApp, because I am in tens of groups that talk about changing and fixing Africa. I get so overwhelmed. And I love them and those are good. But my problem, I'm gonna be very honest, is we stay here in our own little bubble in the West and we just have this conversation and the speakers, they talk a good talk and the moderator like moderates so fabulously. Then what happens afterwards? What actual change are we effecting afterwards? I've been to so many. People just come and wear the best suit and the nicest dresses. And like I said, talk the good talk. And what happens afterwards? What kind of action are we really taking? That's my problem with it. I respect people who actually say, you know what, I have learned this, like I said earlier, and I'm gonna take what I've learned back home to do something with it. So again, like I said, I understand that these conversations are happening, we're doing something, but we need to start actualizing these things. We need to start doing something. And this leads me to a quote by my cousin, who I love so dearly, Cheesy. He said this to me, he said, positive change, in my opinion, will only occur in society if most people try to do the right thing at the right time within their ecosystem, no matter how small. So I'm not asking you to fix Africa. Africa is big. How are we gonna fix everything? That was mentality I had when I was in London. Oh, I'm going to fix Africa. Oh, hashtag fix Africa. That was me from 2017 to from 2016 to 2018. But I realized, oof, I can't. I can't fix all of Africa's problem. It's a lot. I'm just young. I'm barely in my 30s. I can't. But what we can do is do the little we can, like he said here. No matter how small, at the right time within your ecosystem, your strength, whatever it is, your talent. Right? Like I mentioned earlier, start a program, empower the kids, a lot of them online, partner with schools, partner with, companies. Oh, they once they hear you're from the West, oh, they want to work with you. Host like financial literacy programs. Africans in diaspora, we haven't fully grasped the idea of financial literacy. How much more Africans in Africa? That's something that we need to teach more people. Financial literacy, how to manage your wealth. So in your own little way, even if it's just donating like, $5, like, every day to one nonprofit, like in your own little way, you're contributing and you're doing something. Another quote that he said, which really inspired me, he said, elevate. No matter how little, no matter how small, every inch matters. Like I said, Africa's problem is too broad. Like one person can't fix it all. It's just a collective. Everybody doing their own little piece and putting the puzzle together, which is totally shine across the board. That is why I love Americans so much, because Americans, they know they're right. They know where they stand. They will do whatever they can to just effect change. They don't care about the government. They don't care about anyone holding them back. They just go for it. How many nonprofits are in America? Somebody sits and finds another little problem that they want to fix and they want to solve every time. And the government is like, it's not even disturbing the government or the role the government is playing in the society. So we need to shift away from that mentality of always blaming the government. And something Akindele Akinyemi, who's loved on, who's the president of GABA, always says to me is, this is the time for millennials. Older people, they're getting older, right? Baby boomers are getting older. Gen X, they're getting older. It's our time. We're the ones who invented social media. We have the power, we have the strength, we have so much to do. My biggest problem with a lot of Africans too is we become consumers and not creators. So we just consume the product from the West and what they do, but we don't want to create. So like millennials, this is our time to rise up. And if you're doing something, I really commend you. Let's connect afterwards. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're doing. I love it. I feel empowered when I see people doing great things on the continent. And there's so many people doing that already. And so it makes me really just think, when you look at Africa right now, who is somebody that you can say is on that level as Obama? Right? And I said this in my TED speech, where is the Kwame Nkrumah of our time? You know Kwame, right? Where's the Chinua Achebe? Where's the Nelson Mandela? Where are those people? Don't you guys think about these things? Because I know I have sleepless nights thinking about how are we going to develop and create like great people? We are great. I mean, we have Burna Boy, we have so many musicians. There's people from South Africa. I was in Master KG who sang Jerusalem, which is like so amazing. So there's so many other areas in field, Chimamanda Adichie, so many great people. But we need somebody on that level for Africa. We've learned so much here. It's time to take it back home now. So I end with this quote from CNN that I found, which I think is just so powerful. It really just kind of sums up everything I'm trying to say. No matter how they arrived in their adopted country, diasporans bring a distinct perspective to the discourse on Africa because they have experienced both worlds and can serve as a bridge in fostering greater understanding between the continent and the adopted country. I'm going to read that last part because I really, really love it. It says, because they have experienced both worlds and can serve as a bridge in fostering greater understanding between the continent and their adopted country. So again, I'm not here to bash or yell or anything. Like I told you guys, my talk is not like theoretical, analytical, what you guys might be used to. I just really wanted to share my heart and just kind of give like little tips here and there in terms of finances and how we can contribute back home. Invest in something, employ people. You're never too young to buy a land. You're never too young to start having employees and people working for you and investing back home. So I hope I did justice to it. Thank you guys so much. And that's the end.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a thorough presentation. You gave us a lot to think about. You gave us a lot of gems and videos, and I appreciate the multimedia and just sharing your experience there. And these are things that we don't talk. You're right. I mean, a lot of people talk about. I don't know. I was born here. My name's Deji. I was born here. I was born in Nigeria, but raised here majority of my life. So I could consider myself Americanized to an extent for sure. But I do see both sides of the coin, where you see the partying and everything, everybody just celebrating and making a lot of money and successful. But then there's this other side to the coin, and some people tend to emphasize one or the other. And there needs to be conversations on both ends. So anyway, I appreciate that, everything you shared with us. Do any of our moderators, Falake, Pamela, Doing, anyone have anything specific they want to share before we get into the Q&A?
No, great presentation. Thank you, Nina.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
At this time, we're going to do a Q&A. If you have questions, please, you can either write it, you could raise your hand, or you could write down your question on the chat, and I'll go through them one by one. So if you do have a question right now, you could unmute yourself at this time. I'll start in the meantime. So what are 3 takeaways, in your opinion, that you feel like we could take as practical tips in contributing to the African dream, especially people that aren't familiar, or maybe not even raised in Nigeria, that do want to help, that do want to contribute to some way? What advice would you give those people in the diaspora?
But that's for me. I'm so sorry. I just zoned out. But can you repeat the question again?
Okay. For people in the diaspora like myself, who are essentially raised here, what advice do you give for them that want to contribute, want to help the schools, want to help in some way with the infrastructure, and some way? What advice would you give those? Because like someone like me, I'll obviously need family. Like for me to get to, I'm not familiar with the ins and outs, the transportation. I know it's a whole nother way of operating there. So what advice would you give for them that just want to simply help in any way?
And that's a very good question. And just having been to Nigeria several times and having, tried so hard to navigate that landscape, it can be very difficult. I mean, you don't want to go back to Africa with the Western mindset or the Western way of doing things, to be honest. Be very careful. Like they say, when in Rome, you do what? You act like the Romans, right? So when you're in Africa, you want to try as much as possible. Not I'm asking you to fake it, but as much as possible to kind of blend in, or else it's a tough world in some cases. And I found myself just struggling a lot with that landscape. But I would say for anyone who just wants to start in terms of giving back, start somewhere. I mean, I think a lot of people just overthink everything. You just sit down, you just keep thinking, I want to do this, I want to do that. Where do I start? Just start somewhere. You can write it down even, right? Create a proposal, just something small. Just start. My friend asked me, Nia, how did you start a nonprofit? I said, I just started. I went on Google and I just researched literally. And I just started one. Went to Nigeria, registered in Nigeria. That's what I did. So more practical tips would be for those who just want to donate or looking for places or organizations to partner with. I would highly recommend utilizing, of course, social media, but utilizing your very close connection. So for instance, since I'm based here in the West, I had to work with a priest, right, to help with building water supply on campus. Because of course, I really couldn't trust a lot of people. My family's based here, and my family, we trust him, so I had to work with him. So find someone who's closely related to you, who you can trust. That's very important, because there are a lot of scammers out there. Not throwing shade again, this is the reality. There are a lot of people who just want to use you for your money, and I've heard so many horror stories that are just so heartbreaking. So if you also see someone who has a nonprofit online or project, it doesn't have to be a nonprofit or project that you're interested in being part of, reach out to them on social media. Like I have people respond to me more on social media than anything else, especially LinkedIn. That's where you find a lot of professional people. But of course, again, people disguise themselves and, with all the finessing and the packaging, like we say in Nigeria, so you want to be very, very careful of that. But then do your research. Like someone just posted a comment here about she and her mom having a nonprofit and wanting to connect. This is a way to. The last speaking engagement I had, I think it was in June. I spoke about a nonprofit. And so I got connected to a young girl who I'm now working closely with, and she has her own nonprofit. So expose yourself to conversations like this, and this is how we make that connection happen, especially like people in the West. Like you might know someone who can help out and you trust that person, so I connect, you know what I mean? So just network and connect in that way.
Being very resourceful. Do you know anyone that we could go to if we want to help with supplies? Because that seems like something that's very feasible and practical. Do you have any connections in terms of the schools that you, like for instance, schools that you showed us and shared with us? Is there any way we can contribute supplies?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I do have heavy connections there. And I'm also connected to another nonprofit called No Backpack Day. It's literally led by a 16-year-old girl from Cameroon. She's amazing, Mongai. I don't know if she logged on today. Mongai, what they do is she ships backpacks to Cameroon and other parts of West Africa. She works with schools there. She and I partnered on a virtual seminar for Nigerians in August. That's when it was. So yes, I do have those connections. So if you guys want to reach out to me, I can put my email down and we can just like start that conversation.
Okay, great. We'll definitely try to get that information on the chat and through the African Business Club. What's your nonprofit? What exactly?
No, that's a great question. So it's called Glow Up Africa. So we do two things, health and education. And of course, I'm passionate about health, but I do focus, we focus more on the educational part of it. So what we do is we help to review the educational infrastructure. So we built a library in a water supply in 2 schools. So the first school you guys saw where the lab was just torn apart and non-existent pretty much, we built a water supply there. Another school very close to my hometown where my parents are from, we built a water supply there. We've donated books to like about 5 schools right now in Nigeria. We're working right now on building an actual library for 2021. That was going to be the plan for 2020, but of course COVID happened. But another thing we try to do is just help them mentally. So this year we hosted a virtual seminar for all for students. So about 1,000 students from literally all over Africa logged on. So I guess the flyer kind of like went around. So they logged on. We had like, very good, inspirational, influential speakers who just kind of, just empowered them really. And so in terms of health, sorry, I forgot about that. We raise awareness for hepatitis prevalence. So I was really exposed to the fact that hepatitis is pretty much like the HIV of our time while studying in London, because I did study global health and social justice at King's College London. And so that really hit me. And that's why I talked a little bit about health here and the example of the girl who was stabbed. So 20 million Nigerians have hepatitis B and they don't even know it. Right? It's literally spreading. And what is really sad for me to really just comprehend is the fact that in the Western world, hepatitis is pretty much extinct, like it's non-existent, right? When you come here, when I migrated here, the first thing they did was give me hepatitis shot. It's like, it's available. But in Nigeria, it's unavailable. My auntie caught it, and now she's at risk of having cancer. And it's like, it's easily infectious, but people don't know about it. So we try to have conversation. And this is actually how the education part of it was birthed. Like, we went to schools to talk about hepatitis B prevalence, talk to students, give them kits. And these students were not even listening because they're like, we don't care about that. We have more tangible needs. Like our library, we don't have toilets. Like you heard the girl say, we don't have toilets. We don't have water on campus. They have to bring like literally a bottle of water to help them the duration of the day. So that's what inspired the educational part of it.
Wow, there's a lot going on there. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Anybody have any other questions? Because I could keep going on my own.
Yeah, I have a question. Yes, hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Good afternoon, Nia. Thanks for your presentation. Question for you is this: would you want us to all like start our own organizations in different states? Let's say Lagos and Ondo, or should we? Is your organization looking to expand your footprint in Nigeria, for example? Because what you talked about is something I've been discussing with people for quite some time about health and education, because they go together. And there was a young girl that I met. She told me she was a medical student in Nigeria, and she was telling me that her school did a project where they were to go to the community and would ask people, or show them rather, how to, wash their hands properly and different things. And she met this farmer that told her, hey, listen, what you guys are talking about, that doesn't concern me. His immediate need was, how do I get my products from the farm to the market? So until you could solve that problem, he wasn't interested in hand washing. I took that to mean you got to help people based on what they need, not what you think they need, but locally get on the ground, and see how you can help them. So to bring it back to the health and education, that was my question for you.
No, and that's such a powerful question and very powerful comment you made as well. And that's exactly the same experience I had. Like, the kids were not listening, like I said earlier. They were like, what is she talking about? We don't care about hepatitis. Like, we don't have it. We don't know what it is, right? We just need water supply on campus. We don't have toilets. And I could have showed you guys like what was supposedly the toilet. So I do agree with you, but I would say, yes, my nonprofit is looking to expand. We're always looking for partnership opportunities. That's why I partner with No Backpack Day, which I talked about, the young girl who's 16-year-old. I'm also partnering with a very amazing medical doctor who is just phenomenal, Dr. Nelson Aluya. So I'm always looking to expand and to partner. And 2021, I'm going to be very, very heavily, involved in just traveling back and going on campuses more, because that's really my heart and my passion. So if you're looking to partner and work together, for sure, reach out to me. I will drop my email so we can talk about that. But I wouldn't say, and this is the first thing you said, I wouldn't advise everybody to go and just open a nonprofit, right? Except that's an interest. And I think that kind of goes back to what I said in my presentation. What is your calling? What's your interest, right? Not everybody has the fire or the ability to cope with the stress of running a nonprofit or whatnot. And maybe you want to start a nonprofit, but then when you start, you can't even cope because it's just so stressful. So you have to kind of dig deep and self-reflect and to think about, okay, what can I handle? Research, talk to people. I remember before I started my nonprofit, a lot of people, especially in London, told me, Nia, don't do it. Like, don't do it, Nia. Just partner with other people. And I did not realize what they meant until I started mine and, just experienced the craziness in Nigeria. And I also worked as an executive director for another nonprofit in America. I was like, this is no joke, especially fundraising. It's like a different ballgame. So maybe your interest is, like I said, hosting a virtual seminar. That's also empowering them. To be honest, I feel like I made much more impact in the virtual seminar we had this year, as opposed to even just giving them tangible things. Like, these kids were like, oh my gosh, now my future, I can compete in the global economy. If you know Africans, we're very into pedigree, right? We're very into big things and education and being bigger, having money. So, what is your interest? What is that part of you feel like, okay, you can contribute? So whatever that is. But again, yes, I am looking to partner, but if you think you can handle and start your own, please, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. Do it. Do it.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a great point you made. I actually have my own e-commerce business. I sell medical apparel, but with Ankara, like African themed type of material. And you know what? Through the business, I realized it's very powerful. You could collaborate, like you said, with other people, nonprofits. And that's a lot of push in the corporate world now, is that having that nonprofit or that communal aspect of your vision or mission and applying that to the proceeds and things like that. So there is a lot of ways to give back now that you mentioned those things. And those are things I do hope to do in the future. There's so many ways that we could definitely help contribute to the African dream. At this time, I'm going to have Ayo do the closing remarks. Ayo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks again, Nia. That was very inspiring and very informative. Before we close out every session, we'd like to ask all our presenters to give us something we call a common sense finance tip. Do you have any tip? It doesn't have to be related to finance. Just something common sense that you think everybody should keep at the back of their mind.
Oh my gosh, yeah, let's see, what do I have? But this is something my best friend always talks to me about, and I think it's very key. Make sure you invest more than you save, right? Invest more than you save. And that sounds like contrary to what we're taught. Everyone is like, no, you gotta save, 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 save. But then your money is just lying there. But if you invest, you make money back in return, right? If you invest in something, if you buy a farmland, then you're making money. So invest more than you save. So my best friend got a chance to like meet a financial advisor, and he told her, he said, you should not have more than $5,000 in your account, in your savings account. Like anything more than $5,000 is just gonna sleep there. So you need to invest in other things, in other opportunities, like trade stocks, whatever it is, buy land, buy real estate, do something, invest so that money is coming back to you. And I think this is what the Black community needs to really work on, especially when we talk about building Black wealth, right? Did you guys hear about Nick Cannon and what happened, how he was kicked out of his Viacom? Forgive me if I don't remember the actual name. If he owned that media company, he wouldn't have to be kicked out. If he owned it, right? So you got to invest in something, you got to own something, have ownership over something, invest in something, create wealth. And that way, you wouldn't have to suffer so much or make the same mistakes as our parents, maybe, depending on your case and your situation.
Yeah, thanks, Nia. There's I can't remember a book that I was reading, and I was talking about the power of compounding interest, right? Because the money you make, the interest you make is also making money. Mm. So yeah, that's a very good thing to keep at the back of our mind. Again, thanks again for your time. We really appreciate it. Would you like to share your social media handle with the content and your contact information so people can easily find you?
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you guys so much for this opportunity. It means the world to me. Like I said, when it comes to finances, I'm not your girl. I do invest and do my own little thing, but I'm not your girl. So this was, I kept pushing it when Donnie said, hey, Nia, we want you. I was like, I don't think I can do this. But this is happening. So thank you all so much for, listening, for being responsive, commenting, the questions. I am super honored beyond words. So my social media handle is my name, Nia Black Amuzie. For Instagram, it's Nia Black. So Nia Black, the color black, _Amuzie, which is A for Apple, M for music, U for umbrella, Z for zebra, I for India, E for egg. So Nia Black _Amuzie on Instagram. Facebook is just Nia Black Amuzie. LinkedIn is Nia Black Amuzie. So you can reach out to me there. My email is actually different. I'll just type it in here in the chat boxes. It's a whole long process. But the easiest way to actually access me is my social media.
Okay, we'll do. We'll get those information as well and pass it on to the members. Once again, thank you everybody for spending your Sunday evening with us. Really appreciate your time.
Can I say something real quick before we leave? I apologize for coming in so late. My name is Hakeem Lawal. I want to congratulate everyone on this platform for showing up. I see a lot of young people here, which tells me that there is still hope for Africa. Because if people in your age group are not showing interest, that means it's lost. And I did participate in a protest that happened in New York on Thursday, protesting about the situation in Nigeria. So just like she said, I am very passionate about my native country, Nigeria. Sometimes some of us, we just throw our hands up in exasperation that what else are we gonna do? Sorry, I don't intend to bring us back, but I wanted everybody to speak. But Nia, I'll say God bless you. Okay, because you're doing something at a personal cost in terms of your safety and resources. If you choose not to do this, no one will hold you responsible for anything, because some of the problems you're trying to fix were not created by you and not created by your generation. I thank you very, very much. I thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. God will bless you. And the resources to keep doing this will continue to be available. I just want you to remember that you cannot solve all this problem, and you already know that, and you said that in your speech. Just do your own part. And that's what I've decided to do. Africa is like sometimes I look at it like a ship that has been attacked in many, different angles, and it's leaking. And we have a few people trying to plug the holes. And we have some people trying to pull it down. The problems are humongous in so many ways. the late Professor Ali Mazrui said, Africa a triple heritage. We are just pulled in different corners. But what we can just do, rather than trying to fix all the problems, just do your own little part, no matter how small, and be satisfied with that. Celebrate what you do. And just know in your heart that you have done your part, and not thinking that some people who look different from us from outside are coming to save us if they created some of the problems anyway. So I thank you very, very much. So each and every one of us here, do your own little part. Give as much as you can. And like you said, let us invest. We're not saying don't enjoy your life. You work so hard anyway. Have fun, enjoy your money, but remember that there are some people who are really suffering. So whatever you can give to these people, we can do something. We already know the government is hardly going to do anything. It is what it is. It's very sad. Some of the things that are going on is very, very disheartening. Some of them we don't even want to talk about it because it depresses you. But just do your part. Just do your own part in your own little way and walk away satisfied. So I thank everyone here trying to do something rather than just being quiet, like and feeling unconcerned. I'm doing my own part, and I appreciate everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hakeem. I appreciate you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Hakeem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your words, Hakeem. Thank you for everything you're doing, Nia. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, one more thing, everybody. Thanks again for your time. You can join our social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It's the African Business Club 2020. And you can also join our Discord channel where we have different platforms and different rooms to engage in other like-minded people and discuss, different things. One more thing, our next topic in 2 weeks is understanding stock options. So make sure you mark your calendars and join us. And lastly, remember that we're all kings and queens. So let's treat each other as such with love and respect as we continue to empower one another. Thank you again, everybody, and have a great Sunday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Hey, Falaka. Hey, Ayo.
Hi.
Hey.
I just texted the board group to see if anyone's coming out for the debriefing.
Okay. Do we have non-board members still in the group, still in the meeting? Do you want to close out the meeting and then?
Start a new one? Let me do that. Hold on.